Okay, here we are. Let's do it. So I turned my machine around because I was showing it to some other people. And it does do a few other things besides this. Like it. Okay, it does this, but it also does, it vibrates the plate on your shins, and then it also has a red light, but I don't know if you could see that. There you go. It's like red light therapy that's supposed to be happening there too. So maybe we'll run a little of that today. Okay, so hop on to whatever your self-care method is this morning, whether you're exercising or you're in stillness or whatever. And let's just chat for the next 15 minutes. If you've got an essential oil handy, I recommend doTERRA's, then go ahead and grab that. And let's talk about some emotional work. And let's talk about especially the biggest thing that you can control about um, your mental health is what you're saying when you basically when you talk to yourself. So I mentioned, I think I mentioned on the last podcast, but I don't know because I talk to a lot of people and I do a lot of stuff. So I think I talked about Shad Helmstetter's book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. He also wrote another one called The Self-Talk Solution. Um, and we're just going to talk a little bit about that kind of idea. Other people have also built on his ideas, including life story transformation and life, no, not life book, but I'm trying to remember the other person who did there's another program called Life Vision, I think. These are just based on it's the same idea. Like, what are you saying to yourself? And Bruce Lipton, his book, um, what's his book called? It's Biology of Belief. Okay, so there's actually a biology to your belief. Like your cells listen to what you say. They believe what you say. And so if you're always saying worrisome things to them about how they're not behaving the way you think they should be behaving, then you're going to get more of that kind of thing versus if you are visualizing and saying to yourself words of healing and affirmation and letting go of negative emotions that are holding on to you or that you're holding on to, then you're going to have a different experience, a different outcome. So I was reminded yesterday because someone asked me, I had said the thing about, 3 minutes with your frankincense that I was talking about a couple weeks or a few sessions ago, talking about 3 minutes with your frankincense. Just sit down, open the bottle, breathe it, put a little bit on your body, breathe it in, just nice deep breaths. Don't hyperventilate, just nice deep belly breaths in and out for 3 minutes. And not really necessarily changing anything about your thinking, but it can be very helpful if you do change some things about your thinking during that time as well. But anyway, somebody asked me, like, why 3 minutes? That seems really short. And is there any science to back it up? And I was like, well, no, not that I know of, but what I do know is my own experience and how my life completely changed when I sat down and was still for 3 minutes and breathed in that um, essential oil of frankincense and really just like let my body have that as a support. Now, the person who told me to do it told me it would raise my vibration. I had no idea what that meant, and it would change my whole life. I didn't know what that meant exactly. I knew my life needed to change. So I decided because I was stressed and sick and depressed and desperate honestly. Desperate, right? That's the thing. So, because of that, I was like, you know what? What do I have to lose? 3 minutes, I guess. 3 minutes of, honestly, it was a little bit of a relief, right? I could take a vacation from my problems for those 3 minutes. I didn't have to sit there and think about those. I could just breathe in, take a breath, interrupt that thinking pattern. I didn't realize exactly what all of this stuff was that I was doing. So I guess there is some science to it because if you stop thinking negative thoughts and if you breathe in, you're interrupting that pattern. And especially if you're breathing in a pure essential oil, then you are interrupting the chemical patterns that are going on in your body when you're feeling stressed. That's the science behind it, is that you're actually taking in the molecules, they are attaching to your cells, your cell receptors, and that wave of emotion that is that stress wave that's going on already, that's probably pounding you into the sand, that starts to calm down. And you can actually feel yourself calming down and as you breathe, maybe you get an idea of a way to solve your problem that you hadn't considered before. And maybe you don't. Maybe you just get a vacation from your problems for just a few moments. And that's good too, because it helps to start to kind of reset things and you can look around. So when I was asked that question, then I started thinking about a masterclass that I did many years ago. And this was before I knew how to set the music properly on Zoom. So it's pretty terrible. But if you would like a copy of the masterclass, just make a comment down below and um, I'll share the link to that masterclass with you because it's actually on a different YouTube channel. But I did it 10 years ago and I talked about some really important things during that time. And I talked about visualization and how and this was 10 years ago, I told the story, but the story that I was telling was actually 10 years before that, or 12 years even before that. And I was very overwhelmed. I was very stressed. I was raising my four little children. I'd had four babies in 5 years. And I was really, 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 really stressed. And I was very depressed. My husband was very unhappy with me. He let me know regularly about his unhappiness with his choice in marrying me. And also, we had had four babies in 5 years, and three of them were birth control failures. So there you go. Anyway, I would lay in bed and think, I can't get up. I don't want to get up. I just can't do it. But then I would realize that everyone else in my life could get up and they were getting up. And so I had to pull myself together and get up. And so the way that I did it is I would visualize. I would visualize how it would look, how it would feel, how it would smell to have my kitchen clean, my laundry done, things dusted, vacuumed, things tidy, how it would feel to sit on the couch and read stories with my children because they were so little. They were little, little, little kids. Anyway, how it would feel to have lunch ready on time, how it would feel to have naps happening, how it would feel to get dinner going. Like, what would that feel like if I was acting in my role as mother to care for these children? What could it feel like? Not instead of feeling like I was just like completely behind, doing everything wrong, not, not making any progress. I was just like a terrible mother, terrible wife, terrible everything. So you can see the difference in your mind, and you can see, like, you can imagine the difference in that. And that's exactly the point, is that when you take your imagination, your wonderful, amazing, powerful imagination, and you put it to work for you instead of against you, then you have something really, really amazing start to happen. Your body gets the chemical hit that it needs of the motivation to be like, I can do this. You can get your body moving just by thinking about it. You can change the story that you've been living just by thinking about it. Okay, how does that have to do with now? Because now that happened like 20, 22 years ago is when that actual thing was happening. And guess what's happening now in our world? It's totally crazy. And everything is, we're way more connected. We have way more news available. We have way more stuff going on. And we are stressing ourselves out about people and things that have nothing to do with us because we spend all this time, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Well, what are you going to do about the falling sky? It may very well be true that what you're listening to, reading, and watching is true. But what does it have to do with you in the right here and right now? Now, I'm not saying don't get involved in things that matter, like your political process or things like that. Like your voice matters in that way, even if it doesn't seem like it does because of stuff that's going on. Again, you have to use your imagination. You've got to get yourself in line with what you want instead of what you don't want. So when you're panicked about every single thing, then your imagination is running wild in ways that are making your life worse. So, okay, so take a deep breath, grab an oil, take a deep breath, rub it on your hands, right? And then just take in a nice deep breath through your belly and out through your mouth. Breathe into your belly again, out through your mouth. One more time. Into your belly, through your nose, and out through your mouth. Now, hopefully that helped to calm things down a little bit. Now, I want you to start considering on what you do want. So it could be the opposite of what you've been worrying about, but it could be that you're worrying about things at a higher level or a different level or a different plane than you are on. You don't have really any influence or control in that sphere, and you're worrying about things that are not within your sphere of influence. So I want you to bring it down to what needs to happen in your sphere of influence. And honestly, you might find that you have been thinking about things outside of your sphere of influence because you feel overwhelmed and stressed by the things that are inside of your sphere of influence. Or maybe you're not very motivated by what's going on inside of your sphere of influence. Maybe you feel overwhelmed because you have too many things, too many decisions that you need to make right now. So instead of panicking about things outside of your influence or panicking about things that are inside of your influence, so before you start feeling stressed, or maybe you've already started feeling a little bit stressed, go ahead and put your hand somewhere on your body where you're feeling that stress. Take another nice deep breath through your belly, through your nose to your belly, and blow it out of your mouth. And now start imagining. Start using your imagination for good. Use it in the way that you want. If you have a stressful boss, maybe something happens and your boss feels actually not that stressed today. Imagine what that might feel like if your boss is not stressed today, or you don't really have control over that, but you do have influence. And I will tell you, putting wild orange on as a perfume or sprinkling, put some on your hands and then rub it through your hair, that has been known to change the feeling in an office setting, also doctors' settings. So just know that that is a way that you can influence others without them even knowing. And you can influence yourself too because you are breathing it in and feeling a little bit better. So see, this is just like little things that you can do yourself. All right, now start to imagine what would it look like. Let's see, it's spring at my house, and I would really like to plant a few pansies because they're my favorite. And I'm considering doing drop-ins in all of my pots, and I think I have one, two, at least four of the flower pots, and I would love to have those. I love those drop-ins because, like, it's like bam. So I'm imagining how that would look and having the pansies and getting some fresh bark onto the beds, right? That's the thing that I'm like, I think I could do this. I think this would be really beautiful. Now, I'm not going to do it today because I think it's going to snow this week. But now in my mind, I have something really beautiful that's happening in my front yard and in my backyard. And I know there's a section where recently we cleaned up, you know, stuff where the chickens had made a mess. Look at that. Look how fun it is to visualize. Time just goes. It just goes. Then you're done, right? But anyway, so I have some grass seed that I want to sprinkle out there. And I'll probably do that before it snows because then it'll get nice and wet and all of that. So that's your job today. Start to visualize in areas of your influence. Visualize on a project that you've been putting off because you felt overwhelmed to get started. Just visualize what it feels like and looks like to have it done. And then your mind will automatically, you'll start backing up from that finished thing and be like, well, what would the next step be? What would I need to do? And you'll reverse engineer the happiness of your life. So there you go. That's what I've got for you today. So I hope you have a great day.